into that pole position.
This is going to be the craziest half of the stream.
Soldier and Massa!
Absolutely stacked lineup of players.
That put in the numbers yesterday. Points in their
And we should not forget
ways,
Soldier, guys. He is an underdog in this one.
And at that first
But,
opening
very,
day,
very strong.
it continues because every single point matters. You want to advance on to the playoffs. You do not want to go down and face another set of matches. So let's get our way started and set.
Here we go.
Well, World Cup semi-finalist with Grenade.
Let's have the Veto. Carl Jr. highest seed, I think. So he's gonna have the last ban first pick. And we are trying to discern, guys, whether Carl Jr. has a permaban or whether he has practiced all 10 maps. In past tournaments, Carl would only practice 9 out of the 10 maps. Also curious if there's targeted bans, like Argentina from Neon was very impressive. Neon bans Norway, Soldier bans Australia, Massa bans Hungary. It's very strange that he does that, and Carl bans Germany. Carl picks Japan, the NASCAR map, same first pick as otherwise. Seems that if it's open, Carl will opt for Japan as a strategy. Massa, South Korea. Wonder if that's a repeat too. I think Massa picked South Korea last time when that was open. Neon, Argentina. Oh, we're getting all like the specialist picks here. What's Soldier? Maybe he goes for Saudi Arabia. There's not that much unique left in the bag. Saudi, Poland, Canada, that kind of thing. Canada. Makes sense. Of course. Wait, this is all specialist picks. Soldier, he won the Elite Cup on Canada. So everyone picks their strongest. Here we go. On to Japan. So this was Carl Jr.'s first pick yesterday in his first match. It's his first pick today again. And the reason is that this track is very long. It has the most amount of driving time to make a difference. It has a lot of precision, where Carl is very good. And it has NASCAR turns. What that means in Trackmania lingo is that there are turns where the fastest strategy is to release accelerate instead of drift. And Carl is very good at estimating the best racing line for those. So releasing early on, carrying maximum speed through the apex, and hitting the exit as well. But it's Neon in this first round with the best start. This turn, for example, is where we predict Carl Jr. will be very strong. And you can see he was quite far behind Massa, but he's getting a little bit closer over the course of the straight. Then a drift, and then high speed through here. Still though, Neon, the young Polish player that we've seen in the interviews, not be faced by the fact that he's facing multiple-time world champion Carl Jr. and Massa, another top-tier player, seems to just want to drive fast. And right now, he's on tournament record pace here. This is an incredible start to Japan from Neon. Clean driving, full speed to the left, high pace onto the booster. This is crazy. Carl Jr. overtakes finally here as Neon makes a mistake. He pays the price for the risk. Massa challenging for this first place. Massa overtakes but crashes as well. And it's actually Neon back in second place. But think about it. Carl Jr. wins there with a 1:15.88. He was 0.3 behind Neon at one point, who completely smoked everyone in the start. Absolutely insane start there from Neon, but he pays the price. Risky lines. Good first jump there from Soldier, clean landing. A little bit low speed in the drift. Neon again, just risking so hard. And Carl Jr.'s actually made a mistake here, 0.3 behind. A small one, but that puts him last. And the match situation is again the same. Carl trailing Neon by a couple attempts in the start. Now this turn, look at how Carl Jr. pushes perfectly to the apex. And Soldier, who missed it by a little bit, falls behind. But this is monstrous pace to keep up with right now. Carl could very well be first in a different match here. But with Neon on the server, that top pace is being seen. Full send through the drift. What's this checkpoint here going to be? Even faster than last time. It's a 10th faster than this previous round. This is the low 1:15.5 pace driven from Neon. Looks like Carl gets closer, but now Neon pushes, casts in the speed, round that exit, and he's still about 4/10 ahead. Get ready for an insane time from Neon if he closes this one out in style. Through the gate, Good speed to the booster. This is tournament record. Neon 1:15.25. What? He's a monster. This is insane, man. Like I tell you, I've never seen this happen to my game before. We hear it in chess, where the young players, where the kids are the scariest opponents you can have. Because they have a lot of intuition, they're fearless, and they're insanely good. I'm seeing this happen in real time in my game that I've been playing for about as many years as Neon has been alive. Like, it's getting close. I've played Trackmania for 13 years. Neon is 17 years old. And just the pace he's displaying against favorites is crazy. You love to see it. Carl Jr. now closer to Neon in the start, but he knows as well that if he wants to battle for these 10-pointers on his own map choice, he has to full send. This is not something he was ready to do. Soldier struggling, Musa struggling, everyone's crashing, trying to match young Neon's pace here, and he is going for another fast run. Looking at the split. Still a little slower than the previous round, but mid 115 being driven, gets past all the apexes, sets up slow, and then a high-speed line to the left around the bend, down to the checkpoint, through the slalom he touches. It's not the biggest mistake in the world, but it's hard to adapt to in this engine off part. He lost the 10 to Carl. Is he going to do it to him? Oh, not quite, not quite. Thought he might snipe Carl back, but Carl gets the 10-pointer and takes the lead in the match. Now, Carl talked about this yesterday, right? He said, my first 2 rounds, I'm always nervous. And after that, it's fine. So now Carl might have just gotten into the groove of things. Neon had a slow start. Didn't fully get the transition. Let's see the drop down. They counter steer. Oh, Musa with a bump. Grimace also seen on the player cam in a shake of the head. Not going to be competing for points here. And is rapidly falling behind the 2 pace cannons, Neon and Carl. Look at that battle up there. It's so insane to see just the disparity between them and the rest. Neon right now leading, but Carl with a better drift there. Side by side, 100th apart through the checkpoint. And in this narrow part, it's Neon up in front again. Look at them. 100th apart on this checkpoint. Carl getting the better apex through the NASCAR part. Slowing down early, wide setup, wants the left now, and that is leaving him a couple of hundreds ahead of Neon, but better booster, okay. Better drift from Neon, oh, misses the apex and gets stuck, and Musa might actually swoop past him too. Yeah, Musa in second place, Carl gets first, and Musa makes the most of a bad round there. 115.6 from Carl, personal best on the tournament. Soldier third. So Neon here, the pace is there, but he crashes more. He lacks a little bit of the discipline, which is understandable. First big tournament on a stage, but he's making Carl Jr. risk more. He's challenging the GOAT. You know, like there's this level of respect and fear that players who've competed in Trackmania for many, many years have to Carl. They know going into a match against Carl that he is by far and away the favorite. And you know that you see you're equal to Carl in the last couple of checkpoints, you might not risk as much. Neon doesn't have that built-up respect. He doesn't really care. He's just sending it. And it is a treat to watch. Someone really go fully for it. South Korea, Musa's pick, but the player you should be paying attention to on this is Carl. Because yesterday, he delivered several 112.4s and even some 112.3s in match. Neon as well drove a 112.40, but Carl here seemed the best at first. Down into the drop, Musa with a mistake. Onto the reactor. Small spectator lag, all good for the players. Neon with by far the best start, 30.83. This is unfathomable pace, guys. Carl is driving a really clean run, but Neon, oh my days. He is schmoovin'. I can't find the word to describe the pace right now, but this is tournament record, again, about to be driven. He goes quite wide here, though, loses a little bit of ground to Carl. If Neon with a good end here, closes the round, this is tournament record. Let's take a look. A 10-pointer is at least on the cards. Gets the first reactor, not the best. Carl catches a 10. Second one, not the best either. Carl getting very close. The last boost, and Neon has it. 112.39. And Carl made up a lot of ground there, but Neon easily could have beaten the tournament record. That was a crazy start. And I was seeing the players, guys, have lunch today. We were all at the same buffet that they have here. And a lot of the players were sitting and talking to one another. And Neon was sitting there with his mom, who's joining him for the trip, and just chilling. Just having a little bit of food and, you know, didn't seem too phased, but he was mostly just, what it seemed like already then, quite focused. Look at this now. Another 30.8. This is a checkpoint I look at all the time to judge the start, and we only really see sub 31 every now and then, but here, consistent 30.8 is a different level of precision. Carl is 0.2 behind, again. Down over the engine off. Close inside the line. Carl overtakes Massa for second, but what about Neon? Neon, oh, bit to the left, has to go slightly diagonal. This cost him a bit of time. Massa overtaking Carl. Massa might overtake Neon too with a good ending. Neon, not the best boost, but enough for a world record, guys. 2 maps in a row here where Neon has displayed tremendous pace. And he is going to keep going. He is unfazed by the situation that he finds himself in. Carl Jr. 46 points, Neon 45, Massa and Soldier 26 and 21. Like, we might be looking back at this match in 5 years from now and thinking we saw the start of something great. Neon here is incredibly fast, and he has a whole career ahead of him. We should not take for granted what we are witnessing. Oh, mistake there. That was Massa again, I believe, flying off the map. And now, Carl, 30.9. Neon also 30.9. Soldier in the mix as well. Through this drift. Oh, he barely. Look how close it is to the apex every time. I hope you understand how difficult that is. Then diagonal as possible to catch the road early. Now out wide. They keep the 4th gear. Then push the corner. Get over the edge. Set up the drift, inside line, again Neon ahead of Carl into the ending. Soldier too far to make anything happen. What about Carl? Yesterday he was the pace king on this map. He looked untouchable. Neon drove a 0.3, drove a 0.2, and this is looking like another 0.3 here from Neon. Carl Jr. is not getting any 10-pointers that easy against Neon. That's 3 in a row, 112.44. And with that, Neon has now taken the lead in the match. Carl Jr. telling himself, come on. And leaning a little bit forward in his chair before we start the last round of South Korea. Upper seed here matters a lot. Gives you tremendously easier opponents. Gives you the first pick, gives you the last ban. And Neon is challenging Carl for it. Last boost here, Massa with a good start finally. Lots of crashes have happened from him. 30.90 from both of them. Close to the 0.8. Neon gets some airtime. This is one of the first mistakes we've seen from him. And tiny things like that can shake your flow. It can kind of break your patterns. Massa on his choice. Oh, almost too wide, but he had to release. Gets passed by both Neon and Carl. Neon going very far into the turn before he starts steering. That is for the exit speed. Carl and Massa losing a little bit through that segment, but Carl, fantastic inside line. 3 players very close for the battle. For the 10-pointer, all of them getting the boost. That is best for Carl. Setting up early, might have gone too far there. Neon overtakes. Last boost towards the finish. Neon or Carl, who's going to be Neon for the quadruple win in a row. 112.3 to settle the deal. He is the king of South Korea right now. Insane performance by the youngster. 112.39, then a 24, then a 44, and then a 38. Like, if you're a sharpshooter, That is hitting 4 arrows in the bullseye, back to back, like it's nothing, you know? And he looks completely unbothered. He looks completely unbothered. And now guys, it's interesting because now he's on his favorite map. He picked this in his other match and drove a tournament record. It was in the first game of yesterday. This match was played a couple other times. His run wasn't beaten. With 4 more rounds here, he could presumably go even faster. Tournament record already by Neon, but from what we've seen, he might set a couple more. Let's see what he does here. Massa with the best start. Jumping over the corner, setting up the drift. That's a mistake by someone. Was that actually Neon? We did see an orange car. Yeah, Neon with the mistake. The first one on this map. Massa also clipped a bit. Carl versus Soldier. And this is the thing with Carl Jr. He's always there. Neon has gotten a lot of 10-pointers, but he's not gotten many second and third places. Neon with a lot of mistakes. Carl is always there, even when he doesn't win the round. Soldier going too far. Massa might overtake that. And let's see how Carl Jr. closes out. He's going to be very practical here in his approach. Not going to risk too much. He's been in these situations before. Carl Jr. was up at the desk here for a couple minutes yesterday, and he said that he doesn't play for a fast PB. He doesn't play for a good time that he can, you know, feel good about. He just plays for consistency. And right now, consistency is what we're seeing. Massa gained 0.8 of a second to Carl Jr. in those final checkpoints. But who gets the 10-pointer? It's Carl. And Neon ends up with 3 there. So now Carl Jr. and Neon are tied at 68 points. Massa at 40, Soldier at 31. Round 2. Exit speed from the bobsleigh similar. Massa ahead. Neon with the better landing. Overtakes first. Jumped into that wall on the right there. That's his previous mistake. Now jumps out to the right, get the entire red boost, and then push inside line, straighten out for the speed slide. This is unbelievably fast, and Carl has actually made an inaccuracy. He is half a second behind, and let's see what Neon can do. 2 tenths ahead of Soldier. All of them in the fight. We have the drone cam coming back for the turnaround checkpoint. Neon going very deep into the checkpoint. That was actually a mistake from Neon. Hits the pillar also and ends up last before they approach the ending. Massa, that is an error he cannot afford, being down so many points to the advancing spots right now. Carl Jr. finds himself in first again. The smallest mistake from the field. Everyone else crashed worse. And will he hold it together in the ending? Up the hill. Soldier with an awkward one. Carl has it good. Neon might overtake. Yeah, Neon over into second place. Massa face planting again. And it's a lot of mistakes here from Soldier and Massa. Tilting stuff. Carl wins the round with a 113.2. And now in sole first. Even when he makes mistakes, the mistakes are typically not full respawns. They're small inaccuracies, like he knows he's gonna fail the turn, so he releases and loses 0.3. But that's still competitive. That still has you in the running for the big point. Soldier off the side of the track. And what now in this battle for first? Massa with good checkpoints. Driving similar pace to what we saw from Neon earlier. Now though, very awkward drift line there. Still makes it through. Neon catches up to Carl. The turnaround. Quick from Massa. Very quick, in fact. Neon not gaining there. 0.4 behind. Massa's on a great run, I think. Neon left to battle with Carl for the 6 points. Massa keeps it clean here. Is Carl getting closer? Hard to determine. Doesn't look like it. Neon failed his ice slide. He will not be fighting for the points. Between Carl and Massa. Massa with a smooth jump there that should all be locked in, and he gets a 112.5. Great run here. Almost tournament record. And Soldier is too far behind. He will not be able to finish here. Just before the finish line, he times out. And Massa needed that 10 points to stay in the running here. 25 points behind Neon. Carl at 84, Neon 78. Soldier with the slower start. Almost a mistake from Neon. Releases early, hits the booster late. That's an awkward line. He adapts. And keeps decent speed here. Better speed than Massa, better speed than Carl. And he will almost claim both positions in the same jump. But he gets Carl on the straightaway. Now the turnaround. This is where Neon has lost a lot of time actually. Tries to set up on the wall and then ice slide out. That is perfect. A turnaround. He gains a 10th to Carl. And this is the battle we've come to enjoy here. Carl versus Neon. Carl with better speed up the dirt. Similar jump lines, similar landings, 100th or so apart as they set up the ice slide. Neon failed here the exit last time. This exit is better. Carl exited high. Neon with a full inside approach. Lands the downhill. A 10th ahead of Carl. Up to the booster. Neon's looking at a great time too here, by the way. Carl with a mistake landing. Neon's round to win. And the time? New tournament record. 3 in a row here for Neon. Every map so far, he has set a new world record tournament record on. It's unbelievable. Like you get 4 rounds per map, and he sets the best times out of anyone. 3 in a row. Nah, bro. Crazy stuff we're seeing. Seriously, crazy stuff. We talked about maybe it will be a map where, like, oh, Neon dominates on Argentina. Carl dominates on South Korea. Carl dominates on Japan. Massa on South Korea. And on Canada here, we thought it would be Soldier. At this point, like, if you're a betting man, you'd put money on Neon beating this record too. That's the pattern. Let's see what happens. This is Soldier's best map, though, by far. A moment where he can maybe come back. But every one of them have good runs here. Good personal bests, good pace. First slalom to the wall, right? We won't see many differences, but in this coming drift and uphill, we could. You wanna get very far to the left here, so you can full speed up all the slaloms, and Carl remains in his position. Massa went flying. Neon now a 10th ahead of Carl, but the splits, guys, the checkpoints are very quick. It's again a full send lap, and we are seeing, oh my days, we're seeing 101 pace immediately. No warm-up, just straight into driving 101. This could again be close to tournament record. Soldier on his best map is driving a good run, but it's again Neon and Carl with an unmatchable pace. Neon with a mistake, Carl gonna keep it clean, and this final time will still be great. 1:02.18. Neon ends third, just behind Soldier, and Massa in fourth, able to finish. Yeah, Neon was headed for a 1:01 there. Carl exactly lands at 100 points. Neon now at 92. Both of them almost double of third and fourth place. Crazy dominance shown so far by those two. Into the uphill, you have to get far left. That is the only way to make the consecutive slaloms full speed. Soldiers dropped a bit down. But Neon pushing ahead again. Perfect timing on the slaloms. Instant steering changes with the keyboard. One of the sections where that input device shines the most, as you can immediately change from left to right. A controller, you need to move the stick. And look at this pace from Neon. This is like a 1:01.7 run. This is unbelievable stuff, guys. I cannot stress it enough how impressive what this kid is doing is. He's gonna do the ice slide around the corner. He's gonna do some ice wiggles. He still has to ice slide. This is the recovery line, but it doesn't matter. It's world record all the same, even with a mistake in the ending. Like, this is generational. Generational stuff from Neon. Carl Jr. PB'd, and he was 0.3 behind. And it's such an interesting dynamic because Carl is more consistent. Like, Carl is leading the match, but you're playing against this upcoming god, it looks like. It's just so insane. Like, this is the most impressive thing we've seen in the tournament. 4 world records in a row from Neon. And he's not done. He's not done. Absolutely crazy. Oh, and there he goes, though. That is the cost of the playstyle. That is a crash straight into the wall in last place, all but guaranteed. Carl Jr. has a moment now where he can maybe increase his lead in the match. But if you think about the first match, we saw nobody be able to match Carl Jr. Neon got to 100 points, same as Carl basically, without being too far behind. Very, very impressive stuff so far. 1:02.03 by Carl. Great run too. Personal best again. Soldier, personal best in the tournament. 1:02.2. These are great runs. And what Neon is doing with these 1:01.7, that kind of stuff, entirely different level of risk. Last round of Canada now. Carl Jr. 116, Neon 105. Great drift up the hill. Look at the precision, guys. Dodging all the obstacles. And cross the no brakes. He has about a car length lead. The others catch up, though he didn't carry all the speed he could. And the pace is a little bit slower than most rounds. Still on pace for low 102s here. Most importantly, the points. Soldier really needs some now. As the gap is approaching 50 points for him to catch up. Almost insurmountable. He's gonna try his best. Neon and Carl are both there. This will be a nail biter to the finish line. Carl Jr., uncharacteristic mistake. Neon versus Soldier. This is Soldier's domain, but also Neon has done great in this tournament. Close! Neon finishes backwards. Soldier takes that round. 200th ahead, and a 10-pointer he much needed. Okay, like we have a full-on match here, guys. We have a full-on match. Saudi Arabia is map number 5. And we will see if Neon can do the unthinkable. I think most people would say yes. You have 4 more rounds to play here. And why not show up with another public world record? People keep asking how old he is. He's only 17 years old. Born in 2009. And Carl Jr. has almost played Trackmania for as long as Neon has been alive. That is something crazy to think about. I think Carl started around 2010, 2011. There are players in this field that have played since 2008. Let's see Saudi Arabia here. World record right now, 1:07.55 from Guan. First proper obstacle is this jump through the window. And they all have it. But who's up front? Well, right now Massa, but not far behind. It's Neon. And sure enough, after the jump, Neon takes the lead for a moment. Massa here, though, driving phenomenally, holding on. Does he change the jump line? No, still going for the jump. We saw this from him and Grenade yesterday. And Massa here actually showing its potential, gaining a lot and losing in the drift setup. Carl versus Neon side by side, a wheel length apart. Carl released early, too early. He risked it all. And Neon with a first place and Carl with a last makes no way. No way! What is he doing? It's a 5th world record in a row. The first round of the map without any prior warm-up, bro. Get out. Get out. 5 for 5 world records in a match. There's just no way. That is so insane. This should be a warning sign to everyone else in the competition. This is the guy to look out for. And guess what? There is no hole in his repertoire because he just beat the world record on every map in the match. Like, what? some people have a strong map. A strong map. Oh, that is my map. Neon just claimed 5. Like, what? Okay, alright, well, let's take stock of the situation. Carl and Neon 122, 121. Now Carl versus Masa on the jump or drift line. About equal into the checkpoint, but you can see here Masa jumping too wide. Carl overtakes. The jump line seems to loose. Carl up ahead. He made a mistake previous round. Now gonna try to keep it clean. Might risk his position because he releases late. He wants to save it. Masa has a fraction more speed, but it's not enough. Carl wins the round up to 132. Neon up at 125. Masa to 83 points. Soldier 71. This will get very interesting. We played till 140, and then we have finalist mode. And if you are in finalist mode, you have to win a round. And if Neon survives the turns in that round, you are not winning that round. Simple as. His pace is unbelievable. The only way you beat him is when he crashes, honestly. Which he has done several times. Carl with an opportunity now to enter finalist mode immediately. With a 10-pointer here. Neon could deny it. Get up to 135 himself and all but likely enter finalist mode the same time as Carl Jr. Let's see what he can do. Neon would have to overtake here in the battle for first. Drifts earlier. Little bit of a shaky downhill. That lets Carl get a small advantage, but more speed for Neon. Does he dodge the bumps? Beautifully done on the rock. Also great drift to follow. He gaps Carl Jr. in that segment, and now even a poor landing would suffice, but he gets a good one, and this is an even faster run by Neon, who's going to do it again. Double world record on the same map, and he jumps up to 135 points. Carl Jr. sets a match personal best. Doesn't matter. Him and Neon are all but basically tied here. 138, 135. Just insane. Just insane, guys. I'm shocked. I'm actually shocked. The most impressive match I've ever seen from a Trackmania prodigy. Just crazy. And it's still not over. Carl versus Neon in this round. It doesn't really matter for either of them as long as they get first and second place. They are, all things considered, tied. And let's see if Soldier or Masa could do anything about it. Have to be feeling quite defeated right now if you're seeing the times they're driving and the consistency from Carl. It's just really hard to beat. So Carl pushing all here, wants to show what he's capable of too. Down the slope, Masa catching up for a moment, but then the jump line loses in the speed. He gets overtaken again. It's still Neon Carl up first. Will either of them fail the jump? Will they both make it and enter finalist mode at the same time? It's an early release from Neon. He gets the better of that segment, but they both do a great time and are finalists. And now, guys, the map rotation skips back to map number 1 that Carl Jr. picked of Japan. But who has the best pace there? Who has the tournament record? It's Neon. Neon matched Carl Jr. in a 140-point match. 240, got to finalist mode. And now we're going to Japan. See what he's capable of. Just take a breather and really take it all in, guys. Just completely shocked at the level. And at such an important stage too. Like, if this was a regular Trackmania Grand League match, it'd still be impressive. But to do it here at the biggest tournament the game has ever seen, on stage, when it matters, is something else. Here we go. Start already will become important. We know Neon is going to push from the first checkpoint onwards here. Try to build a lead. Carl Jr. can come back from some deficits, but if it starts becoming 0.2, 0.3, it is problematic already. All of them, though, within a tenth. As we go into the NASCAR part. Oh, that's a mistake from Neon. He clips the wall. Carl Jr. now the only finalist, fighting for the round win here, but so is Masa. Knows that to stay in the upper bracket, this is the moment to step up. Great turn there. Soldier crashes. 1 versus 1. Massa versus Carl Jr. Carl Jr. could still prove that the older players know better. The more experienced. Carl Jr. has seen so many matches, been in so many finals. He's seen it all. He's seen younger players step up on the stage, and still, he has beaten them all time and time again. And he wants to do the same here. Even though Neon is getting close, Carl Jr. could still prove he is inevitable when it comes to first places in Trackmania. The last couple of drifts here to close out this upper bracket match. Carl Jr. through the gate will win the match against Neon, despite the incredible pace, despite the 6 world records Neon drove. Carl Jr.'s consistency proves better, and he takes seed 1 in this one. But Neon gave him a hell of a race for the money here. We have to say it. Absolutely insane. And now, let's see the battle for second place. Neon with a 45-point lead to Massa, and a lot bigger lead to Soldier. Not going to calculate that. Going to look at the race instead. This is the turn where Neon crashed last time. How will he adapt? Better this time. Much wider, but still keeping good speed. 0.2 ahead of his 2 opponents. A lot of speed through the NASCAR Part 2. The others are not really getting much closer. Setting up wide for the low drift around the checkpoint. Gaining speed between the gates. Massa is, to his credit, getting some hundredths back. Caught up a 10th there through the drift here, getting closer, but he needs to win the round to deny Neon once, and then he needs to do that 4 more times to even have a chance at the other upper bracket seed. This should be Neon's to rights. Has to earn it though. Slowing down a lot, better speed up the hill than Massa. Waiting for the booster. This is where he crashed a lot. He crashes again here actually, but so does Massa, and now it's again Neon up front, but we can't. No, it's not. Neon has double crashed. It's Soldier up front. Soldier going to be surprised when he sees the finish line here, but he made it through. 1:15.9 there, the time from Soldier. So let's see. I've talked about this before, but if you fail round 3 finalist attempts, things start to go wrong in your mind. You start to get affected by it. Even players who don't get affected by it much can get affected by that. And for Neon here, this is now 2 finalist mode attempts that he's not won on, and he failed this one too. He made a mistake in that backflip, couldn't quite see it, but he's a second behind. So the likelihood that he wins this is, well, now 0. And now you're forced to sit with that. Now you're forced for the next minute to think, well, the others are going to cross 100 points now. 140, that's not too far. And you also have this thing in your mind where all your recent rounds were crashes. And so I'm not trying to tell you that it's lost here, but the idea starts to creep into your mind that this could go wrong. And that is a scary thought. We'll see how Neon handles this, but this is something that with enough experience, Carl Jr., for example, would be quite unfazed by. Soldier, by the way, with the snipe here in the ending portion. Nicely done. Gets up to 103, Massa at 105. Last finalist chance here on Japan. But even if he can't close it out here, we go to South Korea, where he did 4 incredible runs in a row, 0 crashes. Japan here is a hard map to get through without any crashes, so let's see what happens. The backflip looks good, lands early, more speed than Soldier and Massa. 0.3 ahead. Oh, and Massa with a small mistake, so with Soldier. Yeah, they're getting gapped here. It's half a second. They've only made small mistakes, but Neon gaining like a 10th in every segment. It's 0.8. Next checkpoint, it might be 0.9. Still 0.8. What about this drift? Okay, 0.6, losing a little bit of time. But yeah, driving so fast, guys. 1:15 mid-pace is what we're at. This will be more than enough for Neon to close things out, but he needs to weave through all the pillars successfully. Crashes at this one a lot. Now he made it through. And gonna do the correct number of break taps to get to the finish. Still one of the absolute most impressive matches we've ever seen in Trackmania Esports. This kid is only 17 years old, and he has a bright future ahead, and even perhaps a bright tournament ahead here. 6 world records, 1 game, but Carl Jr. still wins. Who's gonna stop Carl? That's the question. Neon got close. Not quite. That was so interesting. That was so unbelievably interesting. Wow. Respect. Massive respect. It's like the splits just didn't make sense from Neon. The checkpoint splits throughout. Something crazy about it. Set half the map packs world records in 1 match. I want to hear what the others thought of this. I thought it was phenomenal. Let's hear the caster.
That's all we could do as well as fans of the game. You can see what it means to spam. Even though Carl's coming in with the seed, the legacy that he has, there's still everything to play for.
They certainly have a lot to play for. But now, though, we're going to speak to a man who held off the challenge from the young man, Carl Jr. He's on our main stage right now with that.
Thank you very much, fellas. Please
Also what Carl says, yeah, what Carl says about. He's going to have a lot of good things to say about Neon here, I think.
Carl, I mean, Onset and Bravo just mentioned that they had goosebumps watching that. How did it feel, that head-to-head versus Neon, at the course of that? How did it feel for you actually playing it, experiencing it firsthand?
Oh, I needed to play my A game. He's a little demon. Like, what is that? What is his space? I've never seen that. He's very good.
I mean, he's so young as well. Coming onto the scene, a young buck there. We saw world record after world record, top of your feed, reminding you that he's hot on your tails. Is that playing into your mind as you're racing around, thinking about the guy sitting to your left and what he's bringing to the table right now?
Well, I need to push more. He made me push myself way more, and yeah, it's difficult to play against him, and I'll have a rematch in 2 days, I think. It will be
He
exciting.
expects it
I mean,
in the final.
you seem kind of energized by it, like excited about this matchup, making it more exciting for you as a player as well. But do you go back and like kind of VOD review now, look and see exactly what Neon's doing to create those kind of records?
Probably, if I have something to learn, I'll learn for sure. But I think he just had an insane game, and massive congrats to him. Like he played insane.
Love that for your fellow team, racer as well. Lastly as well, we see in the club championships right now, Team Falcons are right there kind of at the top. It's, you know, representing. Does that play into your mind at all, the club championship as well, the bigger picture here at EWC?
Yes and no. I just want to represent them as much as I can and do the best I can because they deserve that.
Absolutely right. Guys, one more time, please give it up for the almighty Carl Jr. Thank you so much, buddy. Incredible there. I mean, he's going to have a moment after that insane battle there. He's back to this year, back to Reindeer. Guys, what a way to kickstart this upper bracket. My goodness.
Yeah, this is crazy. All right,
A lot of things I took away from that. First off, I like the Falcons sweatsuit. It's pretty iconic, but I think the white shoes at the bottom with the jersey, sweatpants, that's my
We can't be
preferred
talking
look.
about
So I
pants
think
now,
Carl,
Ray. Come on.
Very, very clean. Let's
We gotta
keep
talk
that
about
up. The
Neon.
other thing, I think that was pretty magnanimous. You know, the ability to
Come on now, come on.
pretty much only about Neon in that
Yep,
interview.
yep, let's keep talking about
Signals
Neon.
a guy who's been there. He's done it.
I'm gonna move
He
my
knows
camera,
how
by the
good
way.
he is. He doesn't need to tell you how good he is. You saw how good he was, G
Yeah.
Geek. You were hitting the table at the fact that he held Neon off, but also is willing to say, you know what? Hats off. That was a heck of a performance, young gun.
And
Little demon.
Honestly, everybody would say fair play, man. Absolutely fair play. Like, I was genuinely on the floor seeing those back-to-back
you guys know he
world
doesn't have
records,
an org?
especially on Saudi Arabia. The 5th
He
and last
doesn't
world
have an
record
org.
off the belt, managing to make it not once but twice. I was genuinely yelling, "Who is this kid?" We already know
They're
who it
gonna
is, of course,
stand in
with
line
the way he performed earlier on this year.
to
but
sign him after
that
the
is
tournament.
just
They might even
genre-defining
sign him
performance
during
right
the
there,
tournament
and
for next
probably
year.
the birth of a legend there, Aaron. That's in the making.
I mean, I may need a little bit of a fact check, but I don't think at any point of any event at this stage have we seen
he might
one
be approached
player
today,
dominate
like,
all
yo,
world
I wanna
records
sign
on a
you
map pack of
tomorrow.
this caliber ever.
Bro just got himself
to
an org, yeah.
do that at this stage, at his age, with that kind of confidence is absurd.
There's the man right there, Neon, walking by. He can hear us a little bit, but he may not look this way. No, he's not. But hey, listen, this is what happens when you get him in the building. You know, you see him walk by, you see the reactions. You see Carl mid-game, also end of game as well.
Love the
How
reaction.
you felt, G-Geek, that this turned into a lesson for Carl as to
A
what
look
could be
over at
showing up in
Carl
his
there.
matches?
I love that.
It's
I love
anything
that.
but given here at EWC.
Yeah, anything but given. And we talked about at the very beginning of the tournament, even before the beginning of the tournament, that Neon, yes, we already know that he has the pace, that he can medal with the best.
And this is
But
his mom, by the way.
X factor, the
That he's
real
traveling to the
unknown
tournament with.
variable was consistency. How would it look like? We saw that it was struggling a little bit at the beginning of day one, then slowly climbed back up. And we're like, okay, this is a really good
Wow.
rise.
Guys,
Here, that is a statement game. Not at any single
The
point
crazy
during
thing
the game,
is that
he
the
has been
match
farther than
schedule
10 points
just
away
gets
from Carl
better
Jr.
too.
It's just to say, hey,
This was a
you're
fantastic
consistent,
game.
fine, I
But
can
the
do
next
that
couple
too now.
matches will still be great.
And I was going to bring up the theme, you know, like, okay, well, this is a
Let me
classic
quickly run you
act
through the
here.
matches that are
You
going to
know,
happen
Carl's
now,
gonna be
alright?
consistent one. We're gonna have
The
Neon with
next
the
match
speed. Well, Neon
is
brought the speed, like you
Otak,
said, he brought the
Postito
consistency.
Paco,
I mean,
Binks, and
what can
Stutz.
you say? Thanks to
Then we
production,
have
by the way, fantastic,
Grenadi,
just leaking the
Bren,
script right
Elcon,
now.
Mime.
We go into it. But hey, listen, it was
Grenadi,
a great
Bren,
match,
Elcon,
and I'm
Mime.
excited to see
That
what
could
Neon
already
has
be
for
a grand final.
I mean,
Pack, Wosal, Gwen, and Apples is the final game of the day. Another match that you could draft as a grand final. Pack, Wosal, Gwen, Apples. These are the upper bracket matches. They're all insane games. So, yeah, get hyped, guys. It's only going to get better from here. And hello. Oh my god. Neon, it's a pleasure to meet you. Do you want to wear the headset? Guys, I am joined by a guest here. What an honor it is, Neon. I was truthfully shocked by everything we just saw. How did it feel to play that game down on the stage?
It felt awesome because I played the best I've ever done.
It was insane. You beat the world record on every map. I have cast Trackmania for years. I've never seen that. I mean,
Because
I know
the world
that
records aren't real, that's
I
why.
I know. But still, throughout yesterday, there were so many games, and you drove faster than everyone. We can say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you've had such like a lightning start on the scene. This is your first tournament on a stage, right?
Yep.
How does it feel different to play on a stage than at home? Are you able to lock in the same way? Well, evidently, but
yeah.
How do you do that?
I'll just ignore the crowd and it's same as at home.
And many people would feel pressure going up against Carl Jr. like that. How did it feel for you in this game? Were you nervous?
Yeah, but not as much as like the last match, I think.
Okay, the first match on stage was maybe more nerve-wracking, regardless, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, you matched him to 140 points and you advance in the upper bracket. Looking at this, he said that he might see you in the grand final in 2 days. Do you think you see yourself there?
Well, only the time will tell.
That's true. I mean, that's true. And another thing we are noticing is that the teams have not signed you yet, and they have made a tremendous error in not doing so. And so it's really cool to see that you have a very bright future in the game. And I think many teams are going to look to sign you after such a performance, and the rest that we'll see. But have any other players impressed you more than what you might have expected on paper going into this tournament?
No.
No, there hasn't been any shocking surprises, any shocking lines that you might have not thought about.
Nah.
Like, we're seeing some different things on Argentina turnaround, for example. We're seeing some different things that Saudi Arabia end with the jump line, the drift line. You kind of just going to stick to your same stuff? You're going to analyze something?
I'm going to stick to my lines.
Yeah, I mean, they set world records, so why not? And in general, I mean, the downside of driving as fast as you do is that you take tremendous risk. You crash a lot, but you still score the 10-pointers. Do you ever look at splits when you're driving and adapt and try to save, or do you just go?
I always look at splits and adapt. I also turn on ghosts.
Okay, yeah.
I turn on HUD every like 3 seconds in the matches. Because I don't know, I'm just used to that. And
yeah, but the easiest pace to drive is the one you're used to, which is fast, I guess, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, thoroughly impressive. The chat was going mad seeing you set record after record and going toe-to-toe with Carl, so you can be very proud. I think you earned yourself a lot of fans here, Neon, and, if you want to say something to them, the people that have been cheering you on in this match, they're here right in the chat in the 10-second delay, so the word is yours.
keep cheering for me, I guess.
Yeah, that works. That absolutely works. I'm not going to hold you too post up here, Neon, but we are always asking players for predictions. So the next match coming up is Otak, Pusito Paco, Binks, and Stufts. If you had to make a prediction for who you think will win that game.
Win or get first, second?
Win. Yeah.
Paco.
Paco, after yesterday's game, was very impressive, yeah. Do you have a guess for who might advance as well?
Stufts.
Stufts. Okay, Paco and Stufts. All right. Curious to see, yeah. We're going to have that one coming up in not too long. But Neon, thank you so much for coming up here and joining. A treat, a pleasure to have you. And good luck in the rest of the tournament. Wow, guys, what an honor. We got to speak to the future world champion. That is, that is amazing. Absolutely incredible. I mean, just this confidence he played with, the pace he played with, that was something. Wow. Yeah, he said it's his best match ever. I don't think it's the only match we'll see that he plays at that level. But, that's a statement match right there. It's a statement match. W for Neon.